Hello Virgo, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm here to do your reading. I have pre-shuffled the cards to save some time and I've laid out the cards, opened them, and well, I'll just dive in and we see what comes through here for you, right, Virgo? So I was a bit curious after last time, the last reading I did, because it was a mess, right? I had coffee everywhere, and some of the cards were actually pretty much destroyed, especially an Ace of Raphael, when Ace of Pentacle was, or Ace of Emotions was actually quite destroyed during that time, and I was wondering if that would come through in this reading, right? If this is something that we would see in the reading. So if you take a look at my front picture for these readings, this round of readings, I have this hot chili, right, with like this flaming mouth here. But actually what comes through for you here today is almost the opposite. I have the Ace of Air here reversed as an overall energy. This is like I want to say like it's almost, I hear like a vow of silence. I don't know if you're literally that silent, Virgo, but well, what happened in the last reading, I ended up with this Ace of Raphael that almost got destroyed. What I felt was kind of one of the messages with that reading was that Virgo went through something. And it was so destructive that it took, you could say, any positive emotions away. It was a devastating blow, and it separated also love from unconditional love into conditional love. And that separation is like a giant blow to all of us. So anyone who has Virgo in their chart may have this like knowingness somehow in our mind, hidden in our mind, that that love only lasts until it doesn't, or the light only shines until the darkness comes, or something like that. The party only is fun and vibrant until something happened that destroys it, or whatever, this feeling that everything, we start with a good time and then there's a decline of something. In this case, it felt like joy, that joy starts out. It's joyous, it starts out. But then eventually we know that at some point it's kind of just draining out, and then there is no fun anymore. Like there's a time of light, and then there's a time of fall and darkness somehow. And that was very apparent in that reading. So if you can go back and have a look at it, it was a mess. But the point is that if someone has experienced stuff like that, and I think we all go through that as children, that there could be a time when we are born and we get a lot of attention and support and help and all this stuff because we are small and we need it. And maybe one parent is staying with us on maternity leave, but eventually they have to go back to work. And now we are with a babysitter, or maybe siblings are taking care of us or something like that, and it's not the same. So we experience some kind of fall or a change of something. And the adaptation of a mother to a child is very special, but we can't expect it from a nanny or something, that it would be the same. That's why the mother has this special place in our heart somehow, that she represents something very special. So when I have this card here as overall energy is like, this is what's in your face right now, right? Or it's in your face when something devastating happened, right? But there can be a reason why you're choosing this. You could say you're choosing something here. You're choosing not to speak, not to open up a conversation, to be silent. Or again, if we look at this card, it's like it's a winged horse, right? And it can fly away. It's not quite a unicorn, but it has a similar like magic touch to it. And it could be the feeling the magic is gone. The magic is gone. So I'm without it, right? I'm without this magic. I'm without the ability to have a conversation about something, right? Or something happened to your identity. Air element here. I believe air element has to do with our conversation, the words we use about ourselves, others, the world, how we see the world, experience the world. What words do we put on it? The conversations we have, our voice, literally the sound of our voice, how we express ourselves, or maybe not express ourselves. That could be like this group that you kind of chose to not speak. That maybe something made you mute. I had that in the Aries reading also. It's called the mute button. That something happened that could activate this mute. But I feel this is conscious, like that after this experience, it's like a withdrawal somehow, a withdrawal of voicing yourself, a withdrawal of, or choosing not to speak about it. It could be that this is a secret. As I said, I spilled all of this over the table last time, and it was quite devastating. And whatever that Virgo went through, it took something, or it changed something. So something very positive and beautiful and light and easy was kind of, it was almost destroyed. So the ability to see that in life, the ability to go through life and just be happy, that was suddenly limited in the Virgo reading. Suddenly everything became conditional, like and Virgo is very concerned about this idea of the highest octave, what I call it, right? The highest best, the absolute best, the perfect, the ultimate of something. That it has, that somehow the striving for this perfection should always be in, and is always in, the awareness of a Virgo. So how can I always stay up here? How can I stay where it's good before the fall, right? That this idea that as long as I really put effort into something here, I stay there, right? As long as I put effort in, I stay there. And maybe by not speaking, I'm staying there, right? I keep a secret perhaps. I'm not voicing something. I'm keeping silent about something because it's for the best. It's the best thing to do in my situation. This card is clarified with the medicine wheel here. So the medicine wheel, we see that there are intertwined these four animals here. It represents four directions of cardinal, you could say, energy. And this is what the shaman work with in regarding to like medicine, so healing, you could say. I'm going to read from the book here for you about the medicine wheel. So the medicine wheel is a sacred hoop with 4 cardinal directions well marked. It represents the cycle of life, a cycle of nature, and the circular patterns of our cosmos. It has been used for millennia in indigenous cultures to bring harmony and well-being to the village. Its direction symbolized the 4 steps of the shaman. The 4 steps a shaman takes to become a person of power and wisdom. So, when we talk about this, this silence thing could be this Virgo thing, the hermit thing, right? About keeping silent, going within, exploring inside, looking for certain answers that you can only find if you visit these 4 directions here. To understand something about life, or even this idea of dark and light, good and bad, unconditional and conditional, it seems almost like, I want to say not speaking. It feels like not speaking. So the hot chili on the front page is actually not saying anything, I feel like. It could be that you're searching for something, that you're searching for the magic, right? That you're looking for the magic that went away. The good thoughts, the positive thoughts, the magic, the feeling of being part of something otherworldly, the universe, bigger powers, something like that. That you're looking for something here with the medicine wheel. So, to manifest clear blue skies in your life, that would be the positive good feelings, right? It is important that you take a look at certain aspects of your being. Enter the medicine wheel from the south and reflect on how you are still clinging to events from the past. Continue to the west and notice which relationships are toxic and drain your energy. Step into the north and ask yourself, do I know my passion? And show it. End at the east direction, visualizing how you want to live the next chapter of your life. It is up to you how much time you spend in each direction, minutes, days, months. But when you are done, make sure to step outside the wheel again and contemplate your journey. It seems like someone is on a journey here of healing and understanding something. Maybe something that took the joy away, or you say something that has to do with an unclear identity, perhaps. Again, it could be that you are in a position where the light has been there, and then the hit came, in your life, and now you're facing this other side of the Virgo, right? You're facing maybe the more moon-like side of Virgo that is more shadowy and darker, and it's confronted with these fears of not staying up here, that you can no longer stay here, could not perform, be, look like, or whatever. So now you're facing these other sides of you, and it's challenging your identity, right? Who you are now, what you are. And again, what's in my life? What drains me? Is it good for me? Do I feel like I'm happy here? When the hit comes, And I feel like it did in the last reading. When the hit comes to a Virgo, I really feel it's such a dramatic hit because the Virgo always tries to stay up. They always try to look at the bright side, always try to. But I also said in the last Virgo reading that a Virgo can be very judgmental. Like they have a very strong self-criticizer, like a big, and it can lead to self-sabotage, like constantly needing to, like this urge to. I said that with Virgos, they're usually very beautiful. They take very good care of themselves. Their skin is beautiful. The hair is always beautiful. The makeup is impeccable. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's never out of tune. It fits the suit they're wearing or the dress they're wearing. The nails are perfect. You cannot put a finger on them, right? They everything they do, everything they say, the behavior they have is always proper to the occasion. It's always proper to the occasion. They always dress perfectly for the occasion. They look great. They everything they do, the work they do, they are quite meticulous. They can be very detail oriented. They are very organized, quite analytical. They have very good skills here, but it's like this can become almost an obsession, right? To stay up here, never failing. Like a Virgo never fails. That's not allowed. Like that's not possible for a Virgo, right? Virgo has to be this almost angelic presence, right? That is always perfect. And that is a problem, you could say, in a conditional world or in a yin and yang world, because sometimes we do fail. Sometimes we are not perfect, or we get to have a shadow side that people don't know about. And that shadow side is playing out all the things they can't show in daylight, right? Or if you know a Virgo in your business life, they have one way of being, but if you knew them in private, they could be quite different, right? It's I think the Virgo energy, it has actually the high octave they're talking about is originally it was really good. Like it was really good. And they do want good. They do want things to be beautiful. But it can lead into a perfectionism that is obsessive and OCD-like almost, or something like that. You could say the shadow version of that Virgo high achiever kind of energy can become almost, as I say, OCD-like, obsessive, and extremely self-critical. Like that is probably the worst thing, and something everyone should know about a Virgo. That underneath that seemingly quite perfect look, there is someone that they hit themselves in the head every time if they just, oh God, I have a pimple, right? You know, there's no room for failure. There's no room for shadow. It's simply not there. So that's my personal take. I have a Virgo moon, so I know this energy very well. I probably know the shadow side of the Virgo, I think. I'm quite aware of it, and I can see it in others, because as I said, I really feel like the Virgo energy, the intentions are good and beautiful. Like they really want good, but it can lead to, and I grew up with very strong Virgo energy around me. Like my parents were quite Virgo oriented, I would say. And maybe that's why I developed a moon energy, because I saw the flip side of that Virgo energy. I saw, again, if you are a Virgo and you have certain octaves here of how life is supposed to look like, if we're not careful, we can project this onto others. So my high standards, or my standards of behaving and looking, now suddenly every time someone looks at me, they will see my implacable, perfect me. That is spotless. There's never a spot on me, right? And it shows them something about them. But actually, I'm not necessarily doing something wrong. I'm just the Virgo. I am what I am. But someone who may look at you and they can't find a flaw anywhere, everything is perfect, it can make them second guess, right? It can make them feel inadequate. So even though you're just aiming for a high octave, you're actually sending a message of no failure is accepted to others. And of course, that's their problem, but it's just, even though you do something, and it's with the best intentions for yourself and maybe your surroundings, you really just try to be like fitting perfectly into this image here. But others can actually be uncomfortable around that. And that was never your intention. But it could be, right? It could be. Again, I believe a Virgo will require certain things. They will require that people do their best. They will say it. They will say, this is not good enough. You have to redo this. Right? This is sloppy. You have to redo this. You have to iron that shirt. Are you going to go out with these, like, your trousers are dirty, right? Get yourself some clean trousers. And there's potentially nothing wrong with that, but it's just, it could send out a vibe. And it's asking people to improve themselves. That's what Virgo, I feel like, do. They are asking us to improve ourselves. They ask themselves that very much. And they're asking others to improve themselves. And it means that if you are not, if you don't have the same standards, you will feel the effect of this, come on, rise up, right? Do better. You will feel the flip side of that around a Virgo. If you cannot meet their expectations, you will feel the flip side of that well-intended but sometimes misplaced Virgo energy. And I am very aware of this because this is what I have felt all my life. So for me, this Virgo energy is, I really know it has good intentions. It just doesn't fit everybody. Those of you out there who do not have Virgo in your chart strongly, like personal planets, you will probably be a little bit like, why even, like, it's not important. All this, like, the Virgo can be extremely detail oriented about a lot of stuff. Like their home is spotless. It's clean, it's well organized, everything has, like, it's... And people who do not like well organized life, they will probably feel it's a bit too much. So you can budge head here with people that don't like that kind of organization. I'm not quite sure why I said that, all this. But the point is that I feel like whom I'm reading for here, with this Ace of Air here, has gone into it's like a diving in to examine something about themselves here. Either not speaking here because someone had a reaction to you. As I just said, maybe they didn't like what you said to them, like maybe they didn't like the way you came across, and they had this very dramatic reaction to you that kind of shut something down, that maybe you learned that you shouldn't say anything. And the medicine wheel here is now here, like someone, it's almost like, like a silence retreat, that you take some time off and you go somewhere, and there's this silence retreat, and in this silence retreat you have the ability to look at some of this, even write it down perhaps. Again, Virgo, quite meticulous, very orderly, and analyzing through everything here. So going through these 4 cardinal directions to kind of figure out what is right for me, right? And when I think this, and I hope this, and I feel this, the people around me, do they fit this? So all these things that I know about myself, am I in the right environment, right? Is it right for me? The people around me, do they actually care? Or what's going on, right? Looking for certain answers. Are you clinging to something from the past that kind of is still in your way of being? Draining and toxic relationships. What is my passion? As a scapegoat, this can be a difficult one, actually. And then visualizing how you're going to get to that stage. That could be the 4th direction. The medicine here of the medicine wheel is also never to postpone it. You don't have to have a perfect plan. You just have to start going towards what it is that seems better, at least, than where you are now. So if where you are now is not good, if where you are now has, like, you have experienced a big hit of some kind, then you probably have to get out, right? You probably have to just make that step. That's one step in one direction, even though you don't know exactly. You go with the feeling then, that it must feel better than this, right? I just experienced this, so it must feel better than this. Then you go in that direction, and eventually it's becoming more and more apparent to you, definitely what you do not want and what you do want, or what feels more aligned with maybe your highest octave, or what it is that you are. If your highest octave is feeling free and positive and happy and joyous and loved, maybe your highest octave is the unconditional love, then you could say every time you're meeting conditional love, it's not right for you, right? You will feel it instinctively, right? That this is not the right place for me then. It can be difficult to start. You must find an inner strength to step into the medicine wheel, or you may lose your opportunity to do so. You slip into old patterns, or you slip into, like a fear. And here we must distinguish between what happened when we were children, because when we were children, we may not have a choice. As an adult, you do. I feel like who I'm talking to here, it's like they have the ability to step in. Like, be silent, like go within, have this inner journey, go within and look for the things that are right for you. Like, I do this like all the time on my channel here. I speak about what's right for you. I don't care what's right for you, as long as it's right for you. Like, because I have been growing up feeling mostly like a scapegoat. I needed to fit in to survive somehow in that environment. And I learned everything about pleasing, being right according to what other people wanted, but not what I wanted. So on my channel here, I'm all about what's right for you. It's not about me. I have my own personal journey where I'm exploring some of this, but I also read about this. Like, this is my thing, I guess, that really figuring out what it is that you want, really figuring out who you are, what your passion is, and then actually do that. Get more aligned with that and do that, right? And I feel like these two cards here, they tell me that this is a Virgo that is interested in healing something, I think. And you, as an adult, you can do this. You're no longer like limited by what your parents are telling you, for instance, or maybe friends or something. Or so-called friends. There is no, in my opinion, I also say that a lot on my channel, there is no right and wrong, really. You can have different Virgos and they have different rights and wrongs, depending on who they are. But the point is that you figure it out. And you can feel it, right? You can feel it instinctively if something feels right for you. It's not just that it's a good thing. There is a sense of a virtuousness to it also. It's not just that it's positive. It must be positive in a, as I said, like almost angelic, virtuous way. The Virgo is considered the virgin also, right? The purity of the Virgo, the innocence and the purity of the Virgo must be intact somehow. So it's not just to create a good result by all means, right? It has to be good in a there has to be a special light to that. And you have to figure out what it is for you. What does it mean for you? What feels right for you, right? As a driver for this, I want to say almost silence retreat kind of card, this is like taking a break, right? Where you're kind of taking a step back and you're looking at, like old memories. You go through, it's like going through your closets and sorting out your clothes. right? But you just do it with everything in your life, your work, your friends, your family, your hobbies, perhaps your maybe your virtues, your what you love, what feels like real loving and caring, or checking the virtuous or righteous kind of beliefs you have or identity that you have. It relates a lot with the throat chakra here, this card here, air card. It's about the identity you have, what you do out of ego, what you do out of soul or not ego. So what's ego driven and what's not ego driven, what's selfish and what's not selfish. That's kind of this. I feel like going through the closet of this, right? Like you're sorting your clothes, shoes and everything, right? And it's not necessary. Well, I feel like Virgo is usually quite fashion oriented. They can have a classical traditional style, but they are again impeccable. There's no spots on them. They always look presentable and clean, cleansing, healthy. Virgos can be concerned about health. They can know a lot of stuff about medicine, about supplements, about healthy diets and stuff like that. They're quite into this. The healthy, it's the 6th house. So it's about always, like keeping young, because the young are active and strong and they look good and they look great. So that's kind of the highest octave, right? But when you get older and your body, it's sagging, you get more tired, you don't have the same energy. Now, kind of the energy goes out of the Virgo. That is the doom, right? And by all means, we are trying to escape that. So we are trying always to keep up here. So the doom is not where we want to go, right? That is the place where you're not attractive, you're not strong, you're not healthy. You break down, your body deteriorates, you are again unattractive, you're unsexy, you are old, you're tired, you are worthless, right? So the worth also comes with being young, being sporty, being athletic, being healthy. That's the attractive part. And we are kind of avoiding this other part. So whom I'm talking to, they're going through something here, right? Where, like going through your closet of maybe values also here. Like what are my values? Especially if you are, well, if you are like meeting the hit, as I call it, this hit that can come in where you're realizing, I can't do the same anymore. I got an illness. How can I get an illness? Right? I've always done the best. My diet has always been, I've always been active. I've always exercised, like, how can I get this disease? Like, how is that possible? Is it here already, right? Like, is the doom here already, right? So if you're going through something like that, at different age, right? That when you're 20, well, life can be and everything, it looks great, right? And then you become 40 and yeah, we can still kind of, like with special cream and a certain makeup and everything and the right bra and so on, we can still look great. And then you're 60, right? And now it's more difficult to be that attractive, or and this is where the doom kicks in. This is where suddenly you are realizing that it's over. Like this the beautiful days are over. And when that hits, it's like you need to, you know, like you need to literally perhaps shift your closet, your clothes. Maybe you don't fit it anymore, right? The bras don't work anymore. Like a dress doesn't sit the same way, or you know, your body is changing. It looks different. So you have to figure out how to dress differently. Maybe still looking sporty or wanting to, you know, like have colors and not dressing like an old woman. It's not like that, or an old man. But this idea that I have to shift a little bit. I can't stay like and dress like I'm 25, right? So you're going through these stages of eventually the doom is coming, you could say, and this again, it takes a change, right? This is a change. I feel like you're facing some kind of change here. A change where you have to go within and find new values, perhaps, about yourself. Different ways of dressing, different kind of makeup, right? For instance, some of those young makeup influencers on YouTube, they use a lot of concealer and powder and something to have this very cleansed and very like non-shining kind of face, and to conceal any kind of darker looking cycles under your eyes here. But when you get older, and I'm 52, I can't do that. I can't put concealer here and powder. If I do that, then when I smile, like the wrinkles of smiling will become worse. Like it looks terrible. You will have a lot of like wrinkles that will stand out. And we don't want that, right? We want it to just be smooth skin, right? That even when we laugh, it's not creating these like wrinkles, very as like here, right? Like that kind of wrinkles, you don't want that. But if I use makeup like that, it will be seen even more. So you have to change. That's what I feel like is happening here. Someone is going through a change of maybe wardrobe, maybe makeup choices, or, you know, when they look themselves in the mirror, it's like they go through a change of something here, and they are not maybe they're just doing this silently, like they're preparing themselves for something, or again, it's a secret what they're doing. It's not said out loud. It's just something that they do on the sideline where nobody's looking, and asking themselves to know, like, how can I have this, I want to say, new start, because this is the driver for your Ace of Air reversed here. You're not speaking about something here. This is kind of a silence, or maybe a silent retreat, like you have literally gone somewhere, or you're working on maybe your confidence at this point in time, that you feel like it needs a redo somehow, right? A redo of something, so that you can come back and, you know, like just step into the scene and just do whatever you want to do here. The Fool card can be this driver that I usually say that maybe this has not been active all your life. But because you are, like you're getting closer and closer to some kind of doom, or you had a hit at some point, it has come into your awareness slowly but surely. It's coming in here and telling you you need to do something else. You need a fresh start of something. You wanna experience life differently. You wanna be free in your expression. This is the carpe diem. I go where I go. I don't really worry about what's going to happen. I know I will do great out there. So here we have someone who's not really that self-conscious, like they don't care about what they look like. Actually, they just want to go out there and have fun and be free and young perhaps, or just feel free, right? They want to feel free. They want to feel young again here. It's clarified with the reclaim your energy here. Yeah, reclaim your energy card. So this also talks about, I want to get some of my energy back, right? I want to look young again, perhaps. I want to be with young energy, be around younger people. I'm not accepting that I'm getting older. I'm not accepting that my life is done. I'm not accepting that fun is done, or the good times, or fun, or fun or good times, or that I'm not accepting maybe an illness here. I'm not accepting it. I figure out how I can still feel young, right? There must be ways where I can still feel young. And maybe that's why you have gone into this thinking mode here, right? That you have to figure out, or young, good, active, attractive maybe, right? How can I still be attractive even in my 60s? How can I make myself more attractive, perhaps? Maybe it's no longer my look. Maybe it's not my body. Maybe it's not my body type or my look. Maybe it's something else. Maybe I know something. Like maybe I have a wisdom. Maybe I have something I can tell. Maybe I have a certain skill. And if I bring that forth, if I have a certain passion, if I bring that forth, this is the way I find light again. This is the way I feel high octave again. This is the way where, because suddenly maybe people come to me, or they ask me because they know I have this skill. I can do this, or like maybe, like a makeup artist. A makeup artist may start out being a makeup artist when they're young. And they can be in that line of work for many, many, many years, and actually get 50, 60 perhaps themselves. Still working as a makeup artist. Still looking great. Because eventually, when they go through their own aging, they have to adapt to it, right? They now have to find a different style of clothes, a different way of putting their makeup, but they still look flawless as a Virgo, right? It's just tempered. It's tempered according to, you could say, according to what fits the age, for instance, or fits the, I don't know, a behavioral style or something. At the bottom, I have the Queen of Raphael here, and it talks about like kindness, understanding, giving, psychic, follow your heart, a love of home and family, and trustworthy psychic information. So this is also I said the Ace of Raphael almost got killed when this hit got in, right? In the last reading. Here we have a Queen of Raphael. So she has repaired something here. From the Ace of Raphael to the Queen of Raphael. This is being maybe more kind to yourself, more understanding, more giving, having love for home and family, prioritizing something that is kind and loving, sweet and kind and loving, and maybe that's your highest octave, right? Maybe you are a grandparent here, right? And you decide, I want to spend time with my grandchildren, because the way they look at life, the way they go about life actually gives me energy. It's revitalizing, right? They are not judging me, right? They love me for who I am, and they don't care if I am 60 or that I'm not working. Actually, they just love it because I have time for them, right? That is maybe the way I can be still feeling that I'm in like doing good, or I'm still in this virtuous good place, that my virtue is now my family, right? That now I put my emphasis on self-care. And when I care for myself, I can also be more to others. That if I become more settled in my self-acceptance, then I can, because I do that to myself, or I treat myself differently, people will notice. There will be something about my behavior. I will come across as someone like this, right? I will sit in and actually be happy here. I can be happy even though I'm 60 and I don't look 20, right? I can, because I have learned to love myself as I am. That could also be what this is about, learning how to love yourself as you are, and like not clinging to like old mistakes or old events from the past, and realizing what is actually toxic and draining for you. Is it draining for you to keep up with the youth? Is it draining for you to compare yourself all the time? Is it draining for you to feel like you have actively perhaps like compete with your colleagues to be strong enough, or to be quick enough, that you solve something quicker? Like maybe it's all this AI computer thing, technology thing. Maybe you feel like you can't quite compete with that. It's not that easy anymore to learn this, perhaps, right? Is it toxic and draining for you to try to compete with that? Is it toxic and draining for you to compare yourself all the time? Is it actually lowering your energy? Then you should perhaps find environment or places that vitalize you, right? Where this is not, it's not required. It's not required of you to be in a competitive environment when you feel that you can compete. Again, if you've had this massive realization, or literally maybe you got an illness or something, and you just feel like, but I can no longer keep up with the hours. I can no longer perform. I can't perform in that pace. I can't. And that's where it's kind of the doom hits the Virgo. And it's this idea that it's almost in the back of our mind, right? That we know eventually it's coming. And therefore I have to keep up. I have to stay up here. Otherwise doom is coming. And when it actually hits, that something hits you like a doom, you can fall. You can fall into despair. But you don't have to. You don't have to fall into despair if you can manage to go through the medicine wheel, figure out what's right for you, climb up again, and embrace life in a different way. Embrace life in a different way. And now figuring out what's right for you, right? Again, I really strongly talk about what's right for you. I cannot tell you what's right for you. I know something about myself, right? But I can't tell you what's right for you. There could even be, like this could even talk about that you being kind to you is actually that you're not constantly worrying about your weight, maybe, or your figure shape. Being more kind to yourself may actually be that you say, no matter how my body looks, it's okay. It's fine anyway. Because competing with the 20-year-olds is not a realistic game, right? It's not really fair, is it? That would be a self-sabotage, I would say, if you try to do that. Giving yourself more kindness and understanding, giving yourself a relaxed, being more relaxed about yourself is better. It could even be what this talks about. Stop this self-criticizing. That's what you're doing here, that you're putting a stopper to like a constant criticizing of something. The Ace of Air here could talk about, like combined with the Fool card. This is an ace, like an ace. It's a new beginning of something. The Ace would also talk about a new beginning of something. But when we have an Ace here, it could symbolize something like having a bit of a struggle with maybe being the Fool here. Like having really discussing with yourself how you can be this relaxed, free person that just goes out there. This is like a teenager, right? That goes out there. I'm ready to take on life. I'm just ready. Carpe diem. Let's see what happens. No matter how it turns out, I'm ready, right? That's the Fool energy here. It's Aries energy. I'm ready. Let's have a look at this. I'm getting out there, right? And maybe you feel like you can't identify with that anymore. Not exactly anymore. But you could have a different one, right? Your Fool, this Fool shows up many times in our lives. Every time we try something new. So you could be 60 and still have the Fool energy, because it still simply talks about, okay, I'm tired of this situation. I've been stuck in this job maybe for many years. It's time for me to do something else. I want something else where I can reclaim my energy and feel stronger, more vitalized, right? And in order to have this new beginning, I need to do something here. I need to clean out my closet. And I also need to stop this idea that I can't have a new beginning. Like this could be a stopper here that you tell yourself, or you have told yourself all your life, I can't have a new beginning. It's not working. Or I can't have a new beginning with someone. Maybe this is a conversation that you are kind of shoving aside. You know that it's not helping. We can never get on a footing here. So I'm deciding not to have this conversation, right? But actually you would like it. You would like maybe to have a new beginning, have a new conversation, but it's something that needs you not, it must not claim your energy, right? The energy, the new beginning should be something that is not claiming your energy or feels toxic or draining. Maybe that's why you're not speaking here, because you know that it is going to be. You're going through your closet here and you're figuring out what kind of relationships perhaps, what kind of relationships will be right for me. Maybe you need people like this in your life who are kind and understanding, who are like they have love for home and family and like friends. They people that follow their heart and are not afraid of doing it, right? That they have a sense of understanding of you, understanding of your situation. They would be kind. They would be kind people. They're not, this one I feel like is not competitive. Like this is an energy that is not really necessarily into drama and competition. They want something kind, where there's understanding, where there's love. And maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe you look for a different tribe, you know, like different friends, different work situations where there has to be something else there, because that is going to like give me energy. It's not going to drain me, right? The competition, perhaps, this constant needing to be something is not maybe really supportive, right? It's maybe not anymore. Maybe at some point you felt it kind of pushed you to always perform better, but now it has become like a pressure, like a pressure that's too much. I feel like here, looking for maybe a different tribe that is mutually, I feel like, giving each other energy. Like it's not just you getting energy. It's like it's actually mutually beneficial somehow, right? Because there's this understanding. It's a natural give and take kindness, I think. So that's what I feel like. It could be that the Virgo I'm talking to here is someone that potentially has had a hit of some kind, and it destroyed something. Maybe it was your health. Maybe it was you lost your job, your money situation. Maybe you I don't know, something that kind of shook your Virgo life out of order, right? It something where you, maybe it was a love relationship. You thought you had love for each other, but you figured out that it was actually not at all love, and you lost them, right? And it shook you, right? You thought that it was different, and you figured something out, or they left, and it was this hit, you know, like that kind of. And because it hits you, it hits you in all the Virgo areas. So the highest octave or something, you know, someone leaving because they found a younger mistress. It will point to all the Virgo things, like age, young, being attractive enough. Like it's like you can no longer deliver in that area. You know, like when a Virgo hits the age doom, you could say, it's like you can no longer deliver. No matter what you do, you will not be 25 anymore. And when that recognition, when that awareness kind of hits the Virgo, it's like, but what can I do then? Because I'm still here. And this is where I feel like it's like this finding value, that you have value, even though you're not 25, or you're not this young mistress, or you're not attractive in certain job situations or something. You don't earn the same salary anymore. You don't get the same job offers. You can't keep up with the, like work development. You can't finish the projects as quickly as your colleagues, young colleagues, or, you're not as strong or fit. If you're an athlete, right, you see yourself, you get slower and slower. You can't keep up that performance. And when you kind of hit that when that awareness comes in that you are not at the top anymore of other people's preferences, you have to find other kinds of value. How can I be of value when I'm no longer that? Right? How can I? And I feel like I'm talking to a Virgo that is in this process, having recognized the doom, you could say, or the feeling that the doom is calling you, right? That the doom is calling you. And you feel this, maybe not despair, but this realization that something is over, that some kind of highest octave is over, and you're kind of figuring out, but then if I'm not this, what am I then, right? How can I still have value? How can I still, how can I still be good, or how can I still have high value if I've lost the high value? Does that make sense? Like that's what I feel like, and really draining out the things that where you feel low value, like all the toxic draining stuff in your life. That's what this takes you through here, the medicine wheel. It takes you through this, everything where you feel this is just draining my energy. It's draining my confidence, my self-worth, my sense of feeling maybe young, or my sense of, again, value, appreciation, where I'm not supported simply. The things that are not supporting me, it's like this, I see that realm, I understand that world, and maybe I've been part of that world once, but I see that this is now just draining me. So I'm kind of taking myself, I'm taking this step back from that, right? I'm stepping back out of that. And I'm looking at it now and knowing I'm possibly not part of this anymore. But if I'm not part of this, what am I then part of? And what would I like to be there now? That's what I feel like. And that can be a devastating process, right? It's like you are no longer valued for the things you did once, or was, or looked like, or worked with, or whatever. It like you are no longer appreciated there, that your function here, that your mission or your function, your value, your worth here is not the same after the hit, right? After the hit, or when the doom arrives, it's like, it's actually a rejection, right? It feels like a rejection, a massive rejection of who you are, or what you thought about yourself up till now. So it's like you are invited into a redo, a 2.0 Virgo, right? that's what I feel like here, that you are invited into a rebuilding, re-establishing of worth here. And that worth can be something else than you thought it was. In this realm that you are maybe entering out of, or you're at the brink of, maybe feeling that you are pushed out of it, that this realm here that you have been competing in, that maybe you realize what kind of dynamics are actually in here. And it can even be an appreciative thing, that maybe it doesn't start out like that, but actually you get to a point where you are appreciating what you now can see that is in here. And you're standing outside of it, like taking this step back and looking at it, knowing that I'm retiring of this. That could also be what this is, that you are going through a retiring process and looking at this. But I've been part of this massive instrument, this matrix, right? That has certain, like, it has some very particular rules and expectations. And I'm kind of taking a step out and I'm just looking at it. And I see that when I was in it, how I was judging myself, others, and so on. It's like the matrix, right? That you're kind of looking at it and seeing the factors and all those rules that were in there. And you can only be part of this. Like, you have to be really good to be there, right? And now it's like, if you if you somehow had a hit, or like a disability, something like that, you can't be part of this. You are outside of it somehow. Because you can't live up to those requirements here. Maybe you don't want to. Like, maybe that's also this, the reverse part could be that you are negating. You don't want this anymore in your life. You want a different kind of life, where there's kindness and understanding, where these dynamics are not there. Do you get my point? Like, it could be a feeling of rebelling, right? That the reason why you're not engaging here could be like you're rebelling against it. Like, this cannot be how I want to live the rest of my life. I'm not accepting these terms, right? I'm simply not accepting them, because you're going through this, right? And because you're going through your closet, you could say, your life, your world, you're realizing what actually is caring, perhaps, or loving. And you're realizing this is not part of it, whatever this is for you here. And therefore, you may choose not to engage. You're choosing not to engage because you're now, at this moment, cleaning out your closet here. Because you want a different life that is actually giving you energy, allowing you to have energy. This can also be someone who is very engaged in nature, right? They want a life in a fulfilling environment that actually revitalizes them instead of draining them, right? That's the reason why you are also going through your closet here. Because you have felt the drain, or you even had the hit. Like, maybe you fell out of work, you got stressed, overstressed, you couldn't go to work. Maybe you had this like a collapse, right? And you have had a hard time rising up again from that collapse, and that's why you can't engage in this anymore, because the rules in here don't apply for you anymore, due to this hit. I feel like, you need something that is more kind here, more understanding. There's a kindness, a love an appreciation for you just as you are, with what you can bring to the table. The environment here for the Fool here, the environment here must be kind, right? That it has to be a place where the rules are different, right? So disengaging from this and engaging here, but here we have different rules. The setting is different, right? The sense of value is different also. When something is attractive and valuable and appreciative, the rules here are different than here. That's what I feel like. This is what I have, Virgo. So someone going through this and maybe having a hard time adapting to it. Maybe that's why this is reversed. Or you're not speaking about it. Like you're really going in and feeling into this, right? Working with the medicine wheel here to kind of detox from things that are not right for you, disengaging from things that are not right for you. It can be all kinds of stuff. Maybe you had certain, like makeup rituals you had to go through because otherwise you couldn't look right, or you're comparing yourself with younger women or men, right? You're comparing yourself with how you look. Maybe you have been obsessed with cardio training, right? And it just doesn't work anymore. You don't lose weight. You just maybe gain weight, or it's not helping, right? That you're realizing it's not helping. And so my training routine is maybe different, right? It's actually said that if you do cardio while you are in menopause, you can actually gain weight. So a woman going through menopause should actually do low cardio, like not when you do high cardio, you release more cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone. And when there's a lot of cortisol in your body, you gain weight, and you can have all other kinds of stuff going on, like you can't fall asleep, you have insomnia, all kinds of. So someone going through menopause, like myself, for instance, I don't do cardio, right? I don't do any kind of high intensity training, because then I can't sleep. It's that simple. So if I want to take care of myself, I have to be kinder, right? I have to understand that my body is going through something, and it could be anything. For me, it's just right now, it's this menopause thing, right? That if I should be kind to myself, I have to calm down. I have to be gentle with myself. I have to not pressure myself and compare myself. I'm becoming my other version, but it's all right because I can't stop it anyway. But I can work against it and compete against it and not wanting to see it, or I can embrace it and just know that I will be her here. It doesn't mean that it's easy, and I don't think for a Virgo it's not easy at all to accept this. For instance, like a menopause or like a drastic collapse and not being able to function as you used to do. That's not good for a Virgo, because they have to stay up here all the time, right? So I feel like I'm talking to a Virgo who's going through, you could say, the doom, this idea of the fall, that everything is collapsing, everything is bad, you can't be the same person, and you're comparing yourself. But what you're learning, I think, from this process is actually becoming more kind to yourself, and the new person you're becoming, the new version of you, has different it's valuable because of something else. It's still valuable. It still has something to offer. It's just different, right? It's different than it used to be. So there is something about retrieving from one world and maybe embracing a different world, where there is like a different tune or sound or feeling to it. And it could be that in this world, there are people in here that you would normally not engage with because they cannot be here. And this is where you've been and where you have competed, right? So in here we have the business suits and the high achievers and all this stuff. And over here you may have people that are not like that. They're maybe not into the materialistic stuff. They are maybe more into... They live more from the heart space, perhaps. So maybe they are quite slow. Like the pace is maybe quite slow, but they have a big heart, right? They have kindness and understanding and a willingness to share and, that kind of thing. So it could be this feeling that I'm leaving a certain experience and then I'm entering a different one. Does that make sense? Again, I'm just saying, as long as it's right for you. I can keep repeating this, no matter what kind of zodiac sign, as long as it feels right for you. As it feels good for you. And good and caring and whatever. That's what I feel like. And for the Virgo I'm reading for here today, that's what I feel like. That maybe a different environment or different people you would never have maybe regarded as someone you should be around, but actually there's more heart there. Maybe there's more heart, And they value different stuff. They value something else. And they don't care about how you look, like your age or your body type, your body appearance, they are all right, even though your makeup is not flawless or, something like that. There's a bigger acceptance, perhaps. So it's more or less your stubbornness, perhaps, that is kind of... But it teaches you something about life, doesn't it? It teaches you something about life, that young and beautiful is not the only way of living, right? That there are other ways of living as well. So it's teaching you something. This could talk about stubbornness, that you don't want something new to open up. You're kind of, like, la 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 la, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to accept it. But actually, the opportunity is here for you to accept it or not. But as it also said here, you must not postpone your healing journey any longer. It can be difficult to start, but you must find the inner strength to step into the medicine wheel, and you may lose your opportunity, right? So there's this, like, there's an invitation to kind of not do this, right? To look at the things that, if it's really draining your energy, what you are engaging in at the moment, it's not right for you. But that's just something I can say to you. It's up to you, of course, what you do. You have free will. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, okay. So this is what I have, Virgo. I hope this helps somehow. Yeah, I wish you the very best here. Take care of yourself out there and know that you are beautiful no matter how. And yeah, love and light to you, Virgo. Bye bye.